Good morning, fellow pilgrims and our friends and neighbors. Welcome to our daily devotional at Pilgrim Congregational Church. I'm Patrick Horn, and very glad to have you along this morning. We are reading from the book of Acts, Acts chapter 7. We're looking especially at verse 57 this morning, Acts chapter 7, verse 57. Just a little bit of background information. This is a part of the story of Stephen, one of the early apostles, and the first the first recorded account of a early Christian martyr. So the background to this is that Stephen is speaking in one of the synagogues in Jerusalem, and he is speaking with some Hellenistic Jews, and they begin to accuse him of blasphemy, and they apparently bring him before the council of the Sanhedrin to be tried for his blasphemous statements. And he gives a long speech there in which he recounts all of the ways that God has been good to Israel, and how Israel has rejected this goodness and rejected God's prophets. And toward the end of the speech, Stephen accuses his accusers of participating in this rejection of God's prophets, including Jesus. And so they're getting very, very angry with him over his speech. And then he looks up into the heavens and says, "Behold, I see the heavens open, and the Son of Man standing at the right hand of God." And so they're getting angrier and angrier. And then when they hear this statement from him, this just enrages them. And so that's where we are in verse 57, and this is how they respond in verse 57. "But they cried out with a loud voice and stopped their ears and rushed together upon him." So in this verse we have the reaction of the crowd who, as I have said earlier this week, the crowd doesn't see what Stephen sees. He sees the heavens opened and the Son of Man standing at the right hand of God. And this goes back to our emphasis upon being able to see signs and wonders from God. And from this morning, I want us to think about this from the perspective of the crowd, the people who could not see the Son of Man standing at the right hand of God. Not only could they not see it, but it made them angry to hear Stephen say it. And apparently, hearing him say it justified their anger, and they rushed upon him to kill him when they heard him saying this. It sounded like blasphemy to them. I just want to say this morning that there's a lot of mob mentality in our culture right now on several different fronts, but I think we all see it especially in politics. And I think that one of the things that we learned from the lesson this morning is that a mob mentality that is going along with a group because of what they think, and because of what you agree with, that can prevent you from seeing signs and wonders from God. And so I guess I want to offer a caution to all of us based on this passage of Scripture. That is, that there seems to be it seems to me that we are unable to see signs and wonders from God if we are looking at things from the perspective of the mob or a large group. And so we see a lot of this in all kinds of contexts. And it's easy to understand why it happens. But my prayer for all of us is that we can begin to look at the world in a way that allows us to see signs and wonders from God, and to resist looking at the world and at issues from the perspective of some sort of group that we align with, and to try to align ourselves with the view that God has for us. So let's close with a word of prayer. O God, who remains the same though all else fades, who changes not with our changing, who leaves us not when we leave Thee, we thank Thee that when we lose faith in Thee, sooner or later we come to faith in something that leads us back again with firmer trust and more security. Even if we wander into the far country, we take ourselves with us, ourselves who are set towards Thee as rivers to the sea. If we turn to foolishness, our hearts grow faint and weary. Our path is set with thorns. The night overtakes us, and we find we have strayed from light and life. Grant to us clearer vision of the light which knows no shade of turning, that we stray not in folly away. Incline our hearts to love the truth alone, so that we miss Thee not at last. Give us to realize of what spirit we are, so that we cleave ever to Thee, who alone can give us rest and joy. Amen. Thank you for joining us this morning from Pilgrim Congregational Church. I'm Patrick Horn. I hope you have a great day. Look forward to seeing you every morning at 9 a.m. Pacific time, or I hope you get a chance to catch this recording on Facebook or YouTube. And of course, don't forget our Sunday morning service at 10 a.m. Pacific time on Sunday. We look forward to having you join us. Thank you and have a great day. Goodbye.
Thank you.